After one presentation, I will show for you about barrier to effective communication. There are a number of barriers to effective communication that can distort the message being sent. As we can see on the slide, there are some defined as well as their function about filtering, selective perception, information overload, and emotion. So let's take a look about filtering. Filtering is a sender arrange the information logically according to its function or its group so that the recipient will be more convenient and understand better. Next is selective perception. People selectively interpret what they see on the basis of their interest, background, experience, and attitudes. About information overload, the information or condition given for individual processing become overloaded and therefore cannot be fully performed. And about the emotion, depending on the time the message is received, it affects how the message is interpreted. Next, I will give you more about barrier to effective communication. There are some barriers bring effective communication includes language, anxiety, and gender difference. Let me explain this barrier for you. Uh, in communication, each person uses and understands the word differently, so this will affect the message as well as the letter. Therefore, in the receiver communication, the sender may be misunderstood because the words are misinterpreted. Many people are nervous about oral or written mode of communication and will not be able to clearly communicate because of their anxiety. In communication, gender issues are also a barrier because men tend to mention or emphasize social status as well as family rather than women. For example, we can see in the conversation of men often refer to their status in society or in the family to show their personal courage. So let's move to the next slide. We will talk about the political correct species communication. We exist in a busy or political correct culture where lawsuits and media attention have forced organizations to become very concerned about avoiding any potentially offensive language. This happened to such an extent that meaning and simplicity can be lost. However, that is not to say that certain words aren't inappropriate to use and when used cannot incorrectly stereotype, intimidate, or insult others. Organization needs to find a balance in this area. The next slide is about global implication. In communication, communicating the faith that to avoid being misunderstood or misunderstanding yourself is a difficult task to do, especially for people for position like manager. They should consider adjusting the tone and gesture and use appropriate words in situations and times based on the culture of each place that they are located. The context is so important to understand what is being communicated. In low context culture, they tend to rely more on work, where high context culture will rely more on the whole situation. So this slide I will give you an example of cultural difference is that on the common US hand side show in this slide are very offensive side somewhere else in the world. Next, I will show you about cultural guide. Recognizing the difference of culture in the place where you are communicating will help you avoid the awkward situation and will encounter. You may be shocked by the culture of other place, so it is important to learn and understand it to gain experience. In communication, we need to have empathy for each other to understand the speaker and put ourselves into them and explain what you say in a logical and clear way so that the listener can understand. And the last slide, I will illustrate summary and managerial implication. In summary, good communication will always reduce uncertainty and beat out ambiguity every time. Under using electronic device or software to communicate faster and more conveniently, there are also the disadvantage that when sending letter or message, the recipient does not fully understand the meaning that the writer wants to say and can lead to the unfortunate misunderstanding. Finally, keep in mind that in different cultural contexts, things have different meaning and there are a lot of barriers to overcome for effective communication. So this is the end of my presentation group. Uh, if you have any question, please leave comment below the video. We will answer soon. Thank you for listening.